welcome to my channel, Diana DIY Decor. I am extra excited about today's video because I've been planning this bedroom makeover for almost 2 months now. In fact, I have a couple of DIY projects I'm going to be including in today's makeover, which includes table lamps and a wood wall art piece. So if you want to check out those videos, I'll link them in the description below. And also, real quick, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to my channel and you enjoy DIY projects, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button below and hit the notifications bell to find out when I post future videos. Now, with today's bedroom makeover, some of the things that I want to improve about the space is, first, it's very dark brown. So dark brown furniture, dark brown bed cover, dark brown pillow shams, and I want to bring in more brighter neutrals to liven up the space a bit. And it also just feels very heavy and flat with all the monotone color. So I also want to add some more visual interest and more layers and texture to the space. Now, one of the big projects I wanted to do for today's makeover is replace these nightstands and DIY some new ones. And I wasn't sure if I was going to build them myself from scratch or if I was going to be able to find some used ones that would be easier to transform. And so I was looking across OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, trying to find something that was pretty simple in design, nothing ornate, clean lines, and at a price point that was around $50 or less per nightstand. And I was having a really tough time finding anything, so I drew up some designs and made the measurements, figured out how much wood I would need, and at the last minute I found a pair of nightstands on OfferUp that I think will work pretty well. And the best part about them is that they were free, which is a bonus. So let me show you what they look like and start this first project. So I've got my nightstands here and they're in pretty good shape. Mainly I just need to replace the drawer slides and then fill in some of the veneer cracks. But there's really 3 major changes that I want to make to the design of the nightstands. So the first is I want to replace the bottoms and cut those off and put on square legs. The second is I want to replace the bottom drawers with open shelves. And the third is I want to refinish these in a different paint color. First, I just need to take these apart so I can remove the bottoms and also install the bottom shelf as well as the new legs. Next, I'm just trimming off the bottoms where I'll be installing legs instead. Unfortunately, removing the brackets left holes that I'll need to fill with epoxy before I install the bottom shelves. I found this inexpensive panel board that looks like real wood that I can use for my bottom shelves. Alright, now I've got my wood pieces all cut and I filled my holes with wood epoxy and let that dry overnight. And technically with wood epoxy you only need it to dry for an hour before it's ready to sand, paint, or drill, but I just wanted to be extra careful. So next I'm just going to sand down the epoxy and make it nice and smooth, and then I'm going to start drilling the dowel holes. Drilling pocket holes into the pieces that are going to frame the legs. my dowel holes and pocket holes drill, I'm just going to lightly sand my pieces before painting them. And I'm going to start by painting the insides of the nightstand first and the bottom shelves before assembling and painting the outsides. Now that the paint is dried, I'm just attaching the bottom shelves with pocket screws and wood glue. And I've already removed the old handles and filled in the holes with wood epoxy. So what I'm going to do next is sand these down, and then what I'm going to do is create a fluted wood look across using these wood sticks. And then for the handles, I got these new, more modern handles that attach at the top. Now that the glue is dried, I'm going to condition and stain the wood pieces. So for my second DIY project, I'm going to be working on new pillow shams. So I bought a new coverlet for the bed and it came with the matching pillow shams, which I think are pretty bland and I'd like something more fun. So I found this fabric that has this cool blue pattern to it, and the blue actually matches the blue in our table lamps. So that is fantastic. And for the trim, I'm going to be using this black velvet fabric and making a piped cording around the pillows. Now I also have this great black fur fabric that I'm going to be using to cover part of the headboard, and for some of the leftovers I'm going to be using that to make a lumbar pillow. So I got this really inexpensive lumbar pillowcase, and I'm just going to sew this black fur fabric onto one side of the pillow and have it as an accent that kind of ties together the bed with the headboard. Now I just cut up the velvet fabric into strips and sewed those together, and then wrapped them around the pipe cording and pinned those in place. Next, I just pinned the piping to the front side of the pillow with the seams facing outwards, and I'm just going to hand baste it in place. Now I'll be sewing the zipper into the back piece, and I've just pinned along the place where I'll be sewing in the zipper. I'll be putting in a machine-based stitch first to hold the two pieces together. just marking with pins where my zipper ends so I can sew in the end seams. Next, I'm pinning my zipper in place face down into the seam, and then hand basting it in place. Now I'm sewing the zipper in place within the hand basted seam. Time to remove all the basting stitches, both the zipper hand baste stitch and the original machine baste stitch holding the two pieces together. Now I've pinned my front and back piece and I'll be sewing those together. For my lumbar pillow, I'm just going to hand sew the faux fur fabric onto the pillowcase, and I'm going to use a blind stitch to hide the seam. And then I'm going to stitch the fur to the back side of the pillowcase so that it hides the original seam. Here I'm going to sew as close as I can to the zipper seam and make sure that I'm not catching it on the inside of the pillow. With my projects done, I'm just adding some final touches to the bedroom. To change up the headboard and add some softness, I just covered it in this blanket and some fabric and tacked those in place. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm definitely happy about how things turned out. It's a lot brighter and cozier feeling in here, and I hope you also enjoyed watching this transformation. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button below, and I hope you'll join me next time.